Hello, hello, hello. I know. I promised the Kenichi series next, but what can I do? Xilonen is way too hot, okay? Blame her, not me. In any case, in this video, I will go over the best artifact combinations of mine stats and substats for Xilonen. As artifact set, there is only one real option, Scroll of the Hero of Cinder City, the newest artifact. This is kind of like the version of Viridescent Venerer for character with a Night Soul mode, as in its improvement to the team damage is way too big to use anything else. And you also have no real excuse, it's the first domain for artifacts that was released with Natlan. You need it for DPSs and you also need it for Xilonen now, so get down to farming. You can try and cope with Archaic Petra, but bear in mind it is simply a downgrade both in terms of team damage as well as personal damage. In my next video I will go over what is the best weapon for Xilonen with calculations, both from a buffing team point of view as well as from personal damage and healing point of view. If you want to be notified when that video will be released, then please consider subscribing. Now without further ado, let's just jump straight into it. There are three ways you can play Xilonen: full damage, full healing, and in between. It is the graph. Let me explain it now. So for the most part I consider the suns and the goblets as being defense percent in every situation, with the exception being the last case where I went with Geo Goblet just to see her full damage potential. Full defense means I use defense percent as substat on all pieces except for those that already had it as the main stat, and used instead flat defense for those. Mainly defense is the same thing, but instead of flat defense I went with crit rate and crit damage on those pieces. And crit substats mean, well, I went only on crit for substats, that's it. A few things to note right off the bat: her damage is around 30% higher than Nilu without any reaction being considered, and 7 times lower than Mualani. Of course though, Mualani is a DPS. What I'm trying to say is her personal damage will not occupy a very large part of her team's total DPS. If I had to give it a number, she will provide around 10% of her team damage, depending on the team. In most meta teams probably even less, around 5%. In other words, I will consider going full damage only if you do not value her healing that much, and especially only if you have less than 2 converse samples. If you have 2 or more converse samples, her damage will be halved, and there is no point at all going for damage with her. It will be just such a pitiful amount and pitiful increase. A funny thing to note is that her healing and damage scale linearly. In most cases, increasing the damage by 10% will lower the healing by 10% too. There are 3 exceptions though. 2 of them are going crit or defense circlet with full defense. This is always worse than the other options available. Never considers those. Outside of it, the third exception is also one of the 2 combinations that I would recommend you to build Xilonen. Going healing circlet with defense percent substats on feather, flower and circlet, and crit substats on sands and goblet gives the best overall value. It lowers Xilonen personal damage by 15%, but it increases her healing by 30%. 1 to 2 conversion here. And the second combination that I recommend is going healing circlet with full defense substance. This will give you the best healing while also keeping a positive conversion of 27% less personal damage or 35% team healing. That was all. I hope the video proved helpful to you, and if it did, please consider liking and subscribing. Until next time, have a wonderful day and bye.